Welcome back to the deep dive. So you want to know more about how to really focus at work, huh?
Seems like it.
You sent over some really fascinating excerpts from Cal Newport's Deep Work, along with some of your own notes. We'll dive right in.
Yeah, let's get into it. It looks like you're really interested in this whole idea of deep work as more than just, like just buckling down and just getting stuff done.
Definitely.
Yeah, it seems like you're interested in how to tap into a deeper level of focus.
Yeah, and one of the things that I thought was so interesting was this idea of a great restructuring that's happening in the economy. And the excerpts suggest that technology is really like reshaping everything.
Yeah.
And those who can't adapt are going to be left behind.
It's not even just about keeping up anymore. It's about thriving.
Yeah.
The sources you sent over really point to 3 groups of people that are going to excel in this new world.
Okay.
The first is people who can work really well with intelligent machines. The second is people who are just superstars at the top of their fields.
Mm-hmm.
And the third is people who just have access to a bunch of capital.
So where does deep work fit into all of this?
That's the cool part. Mastering deep work could be your path to joining one of those 3 groups.
Wow.
Think of it as a superpower.
Oh, okay.
It allows you to create value in ways that other people can't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The book gives the example of Nate Silver. I don't know if you're familiar with his work.
Oh, yeah.
But he uses all this complex statistical analysis to predict election outcomes.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely somebody who's working with intelligent machines in a way that makes him stand out.
Totally.
He's not just passively using technology, he's mastering it.
Yeah.
To generate insights that are in super high demand.
Right.
That's like deep work in action.
So if deep work is so valuable, why is it becoming so rare?
Well, that's the paradox of
Yeah.
modern work culture. We're constantly just bombarded with distractions. And, it's interesting. The sources that you sent over suggest that this constant connectivity actually undermines our ability to do deep focused work.
Interesting.
Do you remember the concept of the metric black hole?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's that idea that it's difficult to measure the negative impact of distractions.
Yeah.
So these habits that chip away at our focus,
Yeah.
they're just allowed to thrive.
Right.
Right.
We fall into this trap of busyness as a proxy for productivity.
Yes.
We look busy, we feel important, but are we actually producing anything of value?
That's such a good point.
This is where deep work is so important. It's about making conscious choices.
Okay.
About where we direct our attention and energy.
Well, it's like we're almost addicted to the feeling of being busy.
Right.
Right? Always connected, always checking emails, always in meetings. I'm starting to see how those open offices,
Yeah.
while they were intended for collaboration, can actually become echo chambers of distraction.
They can. Think about your own workday.
Mm-hmm.
How many times are you interrupted by emails or notifications?
So many.
Right. Or colleagues.
Yeah.
Just stopping by your desk. These seemingly small distractions add up.
Yes.
They prevent us from reaching that state of deep focus where real innovation and breakthroughs happen.
So it's almost like we need to retrain our brains
Totally.
to be able to focus.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting about all this. It's not even just a productivity hack. It's a skill
Right.
that needs to be cultivated and protected.
Okay, so how do we actually start training our brains for this kind of depth? Because I got to be honest, it can feel impossible.
It's a great question.
Like in today's world, focusing deeply for extended periods of time is like trying to meditate in a hurricane.
You're telling me.
Right.
And you've hit on a crucial point. In a world that is literally designed to distract us,
It is.
cultivating deep work requires intentional effort
Okay.
and practice. It's about rewiring our brains to resist those tempting distractions and to find satisfaction in focusing on a challenging task.
Yeah, and the excerpts from Newport's book outline these 4 specific rules for cultivating deep work.
Yeah, what are they?
Work deeply.
Okay.
Embrace boredom. Quit social media. And drain the shallows.
That sounds pretty radical.
It does sound pretty radical.
It might seem radical at first, but when you consider the benefits, not just in terms of productivity, but in terms of meaning and fulfillment,
Right.
it starts to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, for example, he talks about the power of what he calls productive meditation.
Yes.
Using downtime, like walking or showering, to actively think through complex problems.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I love that.
It's about training your mind to stay focused on a single task without immediately reaching for a distraction. Think about how often you just pick up your phone out of habit.
Oh my gosh, all the time.
Even when you don't even need to do anything.
Yes.
Productive meditation can help you break that cycle and reclaim control over your attention.
And he also advocates for something called scheduling internet blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Where you designate specific times for checking email and social media.
Right.
And then you completely disconnect outside of those periods.
That's interesting.
It sounds extreme.
It does.
Right. But in a world of constant connectivity, sometimes extreme measures are necessary.
They are.
Right.
Imagine how much more you could accomplish.
I know.
If you weren't constantly being interrupted by emails and notifications.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right. It's like taking back control
Totally.
of your mental real estate.
It is.
Creating a space where you can focus deeply on the work that truly matters.
That's it. And it's not even just about productivity. The sources you sent suggest that there's this profound connection between deep work and finding meaning in what we do.
Okay, now that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So let's explore that connection further, because I think that's what a lot of people are searching for.
Right?
Is work that feels meaningful and fulfilling.
Absolutely. It seems like you're especially interested in how deep work can lead to a greater sense of purpose and satisfaction in your work.
I am.
Let's dig into some examples.
Okay.
And see how this all plays out in the real world.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Cool. So the excerpts mention this story about MIT professors who deliberately ignore emails.
Really?
To prioritize their research.
Wow.
It's a powerful example of how protecting your time for deep work can allow you to focus on the tasks that really align with your sense of purpose.
Yeah, it's like they're saying this is what matters.
Exactly.
This is where I can make a real contribution.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that story about the swordsmith Rick Furrer.
Oh, yeah.
Who finds so much satisfaction in the intense focus that his craft demands.
That's a great example of how deep work connects to the idea of craftsmanship. It's not just about getting things done. It's about honing a skill, applying it with care and precision.
Right.
And finding fulfillment in the process itself.
I love that. There's something really satisfying about immersing yourself in a challenging task.
Yeah.
And then emerging with this sense of mastery and accomplishment.
Totally. It seems like you're drawn to this idea that deep work isn't just about external results.
Yeah.
It's about those internal rewards of focus and skill development and creating something of value.
You get it. But I do wonder, is it realistic to expect everyone to achieve this level of depth in their work?
That's a great question.
What about all the necessary but maybe less engaging tasks that we all have to deal with?
You're right. Shallow work is inevitable. Answering emails, scheduling meetings, attending to administrative tasks.
Right.
All part of the modern work landscape. The key is to make sure that these shallow tasks don't consume all of our time and energy,
right,
leaving no space for the deep work that truly matters.
So it's not about eliminating shallow work.
Exactly.
It's about finding the right balance.
The sources you sent over highlight this really cool experiment.
Okay.
At the company 37 Signals.
Oh, yeah.
Where they shortened the work week to 4 days.
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, this forced the employees to be more intentional with their time and eliminate those unnecessary, shallow tasks.
Wow.
It's remarkable. They found that the employees could accomplish the same amount of work in 4 days as they previously did in 5.
What?
That suggests that a huge chunk of their time was being wasted on low-value activities.
That's crazy.
So by shortening the work week, they essentially forced everyone to drain the shallows and make space for more focused, deep work.
That's so interesting.
And the results speak for themselves. During that shortened work week, the company saw increased productivity, higher quality output, and even greater levels of employee satisfaction. It's a really compelling example of how a strategic shift in work habits can lead to some really profound improvements.
This is all so insightful, but I gotta be honest, part of me still feels a little skeptical.
I get it. Is deep work really achievable for everyone, or is it just for a select few, like those MIT professors or a tech genius like Bill Gates?
That's a great question.
Can we really expect everyone to achieve that level of intense focus?
The Bill Gates example is definitely an extreme case.
Yeah.
But it illustrates the power of deep work.
Yeah.
Applied to a challenging and meaningful goal.
Okay.
The key takeaway isn't that we all need to become tech prodigies who code for days on end.
So what is the key takeaway?
It's about recognizing that deep work is a skill that can be cultivated, just like any other skill. It's about making conscious choices to protect your time and attention, to minimize distractions, and to create an environment that supports deep focus.
And it's about connecting with the work that truly matters to you, the work that gives you a sense of purpose and fulfillment.
You got it. It seems like you're starting to see how deep work isn't just a productivity hack.
I am.
But a pathway to a more meaningful and satisfying work experience.
Absolutely. This has been eye-opening.
Awesome. As we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of possibility and a renewed determination to carve out more space for deep work in my own life.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not about becoming a hermit or rejecting technology altogether. It's about making intentional choices that align with your values and priorities.
So as we close out this deep dive into the world of deep work, I'm curious to hear your final thoughts. What is one key takeaway you would leave our listener with today?
The biggest thing to remember is that, deep work, it's a choice.
Yeah.
In a world that's constantly trying to pull us, towards distraction and shallowness.
It really is.
It's a choice to prioritize depth and cultivate focus, and to create work that actually matters.
It is easy to get overwhelmed by everything that's constantly demanding our attention.
Totally.
But you're right, we do have a choice.
Yeah.
We can reclaim our focus and direct it towards things that really matter.
Absolutely. And you don't even have to make these huge monumental changes overnight.
Yeah, that's good.
Remember those 4 rules from the book?
I do.
Work deeply, embrace boredom, quit social media, and drain the shallows.
Yes.
You can just start by experimenting with one of them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Instead of trying to overhaul your whole work life.
Right.
Just focus on one small change.
Really?
Maybe it's scheduling an internet block for a few hours each day, or dedicating your morning commute to productive meditation.
I love that.
Yeah, just start small.
Small changes.
Small, consistent changes can have a huge impact.
Yeah.
As you start experiencing those benefits firsthand, the increased focus, the sense of accomplishment, the joy of actually creating something valuable.
Yeah.
You'll naturally want to bring more of these practices into your life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into deep work, I have one question for you, the listener.
Okay.
What is one small step you can take today to cultivate more depth in your own life?
Maybe it's just turning off notifications on your phone for a couple hours.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or maybe it's finding a quiet space where you can focus on a challenging task without being interrupted.
Yeah, I like that.
Whatever it is, just remember that the journey towards depth begins with that first step.
It does. It really does. It's about making that choice to reclaim your focus and hone your skills and to create work that is both meaningful and fulfilling. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.